Hey there, it's Pamela Sanders with Bank of England Mortgage, and today on a very special I Got a Guy, I have Brad Harper.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So Brad, I wanted to bring you on to I Got a Guy so we could talk a little bit about what is going on in the market.
Yeah, so any time that you're as a real estate agent, anytime you go out to a party or a ball game or anything, that's the first question. What's the market like?
Is it a buyer's market or a seller market?
Oh yeah. And it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish, right? So if you're, we've come out of the national news is constantly talking about how great of a seller's market it is, and seller's market. And for the most part, that's been true here also. But they're starting to change what they're saying. They're the larger market areas like Los Angeles and Las Vegas and Denver, those are turning more into a buyer's market. But here in Indiana, we're still primarily on the seller market side, but that depends on the price range, right? So if you're under 400,000, you're a seller, that's probably a pretty good market for you to be in. If you're above that, you're a buyer. Right. You're in a buyer's market. So let's say you're looking to sell a house and you're a move-up buyer, right? The importance of that is, you're going to be coming out of the seller's market into a buyer's market. Really no better time for that. Right? Let's say you're a move down buyer. Well, interest rates right now are crazy low, right? So, you still want to sell, get in there at the lower interest rate. So it's really, the market's great no matter who you are.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So we're in January. If I'm thinking about maybe wanting to list my house, even in the spring, when should I pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, Brad, I think I might be ready to put my house in the market? Do you put a plan together with your people? What's that process like for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the sooner you cannot start soon enough. So I've already been meeting with folks. Actually, even started last fall meeting with folks that knew they wanted to get their houses on the market this spring. There's lots of little things that maybe because you live in a house, somewhere usually between 5 and 10 to 15 years before you sell it, and there's little things that you may not notice that we're going to want to take care of. The other great reason to meet is so that we can time those things to get them together. A third great reason is because they need to talk to a mortgage professional like you to get pre-approved for their next home. Whether they're moving up or moving down, there can always be the chance of some sort of surprise on their credit report, or they may be able to buy more than they thought they were able to. They may be able to, have to make some adjustments to what they wanted. So
sooner than later.
Sooner than later, right? We want to get a game plan together, and timing is everything, right? And you may have thought, hey, the spring is the best time to put my house on the market, but if you put your house on the market today, there's less competition out there.
That's true.
Okay. And you're able to, number one, move on with your life, right? So you're able to find it out there, and, you're going to get, you could possibly get into a better situation. It just depends on what your goals are. And the sooner we establish those goals and what you want to accomplish, the more chance we have of making you, in your transition the best possible.
So is there a certain group or do you have someone a group you migrate towards? I mean, I know you're a veteran, so is that who you
So one of the things that I really started to do, especially over the last 6 months or so, is to I'm a veteran, and it was my greatest honor, besides being a husband and father, to serve in the military, and so I want to give back. A lot of people say they support vets, and I always challenge people and say, well, what are you doing to support vets?
Right.
And so now I've really taken it. I want to do everything I can to help veterans. One of the ways, obviously, is through real estate. There's no better vehicle for wealth accumulation. For the average American, it's still the American dream is through home ownership, and so helping vets get into a home. I'm a certified military relocation specialist, which really fancy way of saying I kind of know what you're going through.
I was going to say, exactly.
Right. So veterans, there could be 10,000 people in a room, right? And veterans, if there's 2 veterans in that room, they'll find each other, and that's we speak the same language. Not always the most appropriate languages, but we speak the same language. We've had shared experiences. We've swallowed some of the same dirt, and so it's really great to have a person that knows what you've been through, knows what your needs are, can navigate through the VA process if they're using a VA loan. I can also through my partnerships, we can help them to fix credit or whatever it is, and then also we have here the Century 21 Scheetz Foundation, which a couple of different times we've been able to help veterans that have come through veterans organization groups that I'm a part of, where we've said, hey, this vet's going through a hard time, and we give him I think one time we bought a fridge for somebody. Awesome. One time we replaced a washer and dryer for a family that the husband was deployed and the washer and dryer went out. So
really giving back.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. And so and I really try to help. I love working with other veteran organizations. So if you're a service provider that is does concrete or does something like that, I would love to talk to you because I love referring veterans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a certain part of Indy that you actually try to focus on? Or
some of those things happen. Yeah, some of those things kind of happen organically over
right.
time, right? So I live in the Broad Ripple, Glendale area, and so sort of what I call the corridor, Midtown.
Mm-hmm.
So like 38th Street up through Carmel and Westfield. Naturally is where all my friends are and everything,
right.
But my wife's from Greenwood, I'm from Martinsville, I've got a house, yes, I work everywhere, but if you're ever on my website, I have like a location map, and you can tell pretty predominantly where most of my friends are.
Now your website, Brad Harper Loves Indy.
Yep, BradHarperLovesIndy.com.
What made you start the BradHarperLovesIndy.com page?
Well, I've lived, I always tell people, I've lived on both coasts.
Mm-hmm.
I've been over 45 countries now. And, I love California so much. I moved back to Indiana twice. I really do love it here. And I love being a part of the community here. I make lots of jokes about it, but that's just what Indiana people do, right? We make jokes about, there's no place I would rather be than Indianapolis. This is a great town. I think sometimes people get enamored, especially younger people get enamored with what they're missing on the coast. I know I did. Mm-hmm. And, this is a great place.
Indy's a great place to call home for sure.
Yeah, thanks.
So if clients want to find you, we know Century 21,
Century 21 Scheetz,
96th Street.
Yep. And BradHarperLovesIndy.com. You can find me. Put my name in Google. You'll find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for officially coming on our show. Right?
Thanks. Yeah, exactly.
And we will see you guys next time on I Got a Guy.